If you have a goal to achieve, but you do not have a plan or a strategy, it's just a wish. Without a proper plan, you'll never know how to achieve your goals. And it isn't just a one-day plan. Being productive or achieving your goals is never a one-day thing. You have to wake up every day and plan the day in the best, most productive way. Sadly, a lot of people don't tend to plan their day. It seems like an insignificant part of the day, but trust me, it's not. Planning the day will let you get the most out of your day and be your most productive self. Well, the real question is how to do that. How to plan your day and be as productive as possible. Well, that's what we'll talk about today. But before I begin, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe for more inspiring videos to help you improve all aspects of your life. Also, give this video a thumbs up. So, without any further ado, let's talk about some simple but effective ways to plan your day. First and foremost, plan your day the night before. Let's face it, when it comes to willpower, humans aren't the best at it. When you wake up tired in the morning, planning your day takes up your energy right at the start. Why would you want to do that to yourself when you can plan your day at night? You can give yourself a heads up on everything you have to get done the next day, and you can wake up prepared to get it done. Secondly, build your to-do list according to your goals. Start off with whatever you want to achieve. The long-term goal, it could be maybe you want to get in shape, or maybe you want to start a business, or maybe you want to work on your anger issues. Whatever goal you have, that's totally on you. What you should do every day is divide your day in such a way that you get a task done every day that will lead you to your goal in the long run. For example, let's say you want to get in shape. A task you can get done in maybe a 30-minute workout and a 15-minute walk at night. See, that's just 45 minutes of your day. But doing just that can take your day from being useless to productive. And once you have it planned out, it's so much easier to achieve it. But when you plan, make sure you allocate the exact time for each task. When you plan like, okay, I have to do this, I'll do it somewhere in the day. That's not a good plan. You have to plan exactly when you'll do it and how long you think it'll take. When you don't have a specific time plan, you might end up delaying the task further and further. But with a decided time, you can give yourself a heads up that you have to do it, and no matter what, you get it done. Even if your goal isn't to get in shape, even then, you should definitely add at least 15 to 30 minutes of exercise to your daily routine. Even if it's just a 15-minute stroll in the park. It's a proven fact that exercise helps one be a lot more productive. Ideally speaking, if you have work or school to go to, you should try to fit in some time for exercise before you begin your work. It will really give you a kickstart for the day and make you feel a lot fresher and ready for the day. Last but not least, you have to make sure when you're planning your day, you do it in such a way that there are short intervals of productivity and breaks in between. Let's face it, when you try to spend way too much time on one task, you lose focus. You get unmotivated. That's why taking a break is important. And I don't mean be productive for 5 minutes and then take a 1 hour long break. Properly plan out your breaks as well. And do not worry, breaks don't mean you're wasting your time. To actually be productive, you need to give yourself time to wind down and relax. At the end of the day, we're humans and we need time to relax. Sure, wasting time is bad, but doing way too much work is worse. Anyway, once you have planned the night before, the next question is what to do after you wake up the next day to make you actually stay on plan and be productive. Okay, you might think it's not important, but breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Studies actually show that people who wake up early and make time for a healthy breakfast tend to be a lot more productive than those who don't. So make sure you wake up early. Besides making time for breakfast, waking up early has another benefit too. You know when you wake up late and you have to get ready in a hurry. It's stressful. If you're one of those people who would kill for that extra 15 minutes sleep in the morning, you would definitely know the stress of running late. The problem with that is when you wake up and the first thing you feel is stressed, it leaves an effect on your whole day. On the other hand, if you wake up on time, get ready, and have breakfast calmly, you tend to be so much more productive. You tend to get things done on time. You'll realize dropping the extra 15 minutes of sleep in the morning will improve your whole day. Well, after breakfast, get to work. Go get your tasks done. But if you think it's difficult for you to stick to the plan and you think you get distracted, put daily reminders for yourself on your phone. The biggest flaw in all of us as a generation is the fact that we use our phones for everything but never to be productive. We can spend all day scrolling through social media, but when it actually comes to using our phone to be productive, we don't. We need to fix that. So use your phone for reminders. If you can't stick to your plan, your phone will make you get up. Last but not least, at the end of the day, evaluate yourself. Ask yourself, did you accomplish all the tasks you planned for the day? And did those tasks take you closer to achieving your goals? Evaluating will help you realize what certain aspects of your daily plan you need to change. That obviously would increase your productivity. The point of this video was to make you better at planning your day, and what better way to do it than evaluating yourself every day. Well, that's all for today, guys. I know it's hard to motivate yourself to start planning. I know it's easier said than done. But you need to get up and encourage yourself. Remind yourself of why you're doing it and why it's important for you. Trust me, it will be worth it. And with that, we come to the end of this video. I hope this video inspired you, and if it did, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. Also, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time.
In today's world of mass media consumption, it seems impossible to avoid being exposed to some form of media. Everyone has at least one device that connects them to the World Wide Web, making it impossible to avoid the internet. Being connected to media and the internet isn't always a problem, as it helps you stay in touch with people you know. But it's the overexposure to media on a prolonged basis that can have some harmful side effects to anyone. Today we are going to talk about how social media addiction can have negative effect on your health. If you're new to this channel, then hit that subscribe button and you won't miss out on a single video. We at APP Mindset are an emerging channel and we definitely appreciate your support. In our daily lives, it seems like we are consuming a lot of social media on a regular basis. Consuming a daily dose of social media is fine to keep up with trends and to stay connected with loved ones. However, there are many examples of people who stay up late while binging long catalogs of useless internet data for hours on end. Is this an on and off habit, or are there deeper layers to this non-functional tradition? Recent surveys have shown an increase in social media usage, which are also associated with higher rates of stress in adults. As those numbers rise, new studies have come out which show a new psychological phenomenon called learned helplessness. Learned helplessness occurs when an individual in a stressful, restless situation does not exercise control over himself or his surroundings. This phenomenon leads to many breakthroughs in the field of research in cognitive behavior. It also begs the question of how widespread is this? Have schools been installing learned helplessness in children by giving them harsh punishments and then exposing them to the world? Or can jobs be instilling the hopeless feeling of constantly looking for approval from others? Although there are lots of places learned helplessness is applied today, we are going to take a look at how it applies to social media. Thanks to the pandemic, many people around the world are stuck at home trying to figure out what to do during the lockdown. People who were already home-based or remote workers saw no change in output, while retail stores and outlets saw a massive plummet in their sales. For those who shifted to work from home, it should have been a thrill to be able to earn from the comfort of your own living quarters. But the reality is that most of these workers are living in small living spaces like studios, apartments, and flats, which left them to do nothing but binge on social media for multiple hours. With the increasing usage of social media to ward off boredom, even before the pandemic, it seems like many people settled into a learned helplessness of clinging to the internet in order to combat daily boredom. This, however, becomes a spiraling addictive behavior where the individual loses control of his life to the random time given away to scrolling down news feeds and replying to messages. But with all this overexposure to mass media, one might ask, is it harmful to your mental health? Well, the way we are conditioned to consume media is that it is progressive and fast-moving. Trends and media coverage of daily events move by so fast, it's hard to keep up, and leading to stress and anxiety and being left out of the discussion. Social media is a tool, and it can help us construct ourselves. But there's the ever-present problem that social media is feeding us with quick and easy dopamine release, with the small notifications such as likes and retweets. This approval-seeking habit can quickly become an addictive hunger that needs to be satisfied frequently. High social media use has been associated with high levels of stress. This can be attributed to the withdrawal people feel after going dark or being away from social media after prolonged use. It's not like we are getting an authentic representation of the lives of the people who follow on social media. Social media runs on a highlight reel, showing the best, most enjoyable moments from someone's life, instead of them stuck in piles of work. This creates a false image of people we know in our heads, making us think they're ahead of us in some way, causing us stress on keeping up with others. And this leads to our next topic, FOMO, or FOMO. Share this video with your loved ones. Hit that red subscribe button if you haven't already, as it helps us out a lot. FOMO is the fear of missing out and is an ever-present anxiety commonly attributed to social media addiction. It is typical to feel left out of your social circle if you have been away from them for a while, but to obsessively check on your social media accounts to compulsively stay updated to the current happenings in your friends' groups can be seen as harmful effects of an addictive behavior. This is highly associated with stress, and adults feel it because of the internet. Being left out is a situation that no one wants to be put in, but thanks to social media, the threat of missing out on what your friends are doing has amplified. With the many trends to keep up with, it seems like a stressful situation to keep up with all of them and have your own inside opinion. But this is nothing compared to another, more severe problem emerging because of online addiction. There is also another far dangerous problem emerging from online addiction, with the increasing attachment to the social web. Most people, especially in their adolescence, have been exposed to online bullying for the past couple of years. The reports of teen suicides due to online harassment has only increased since the 2010s. This can largely be due to a constant attachment the young generation have to their image online. But there could be other underlying factors such as a leak of privacy information. But it is clear that if cyberbullying is left unchecked, it can culminate in online harassment and eventually could lead to serious and dangerous consequences. This could happen along with the mental trauma one might bear with online harassment. With all that we've discussed, what measures can one take in order to avoid falling into learned helplessness of social media addiction? To solve compulsive behavioral problems in order to contain it, it is important that you ask the question, is your social media usage too much? If it is, then it is important to take a break once in a while from the hustle and bustle of the online world. If you think you have too many ties to the online world, or your work is too much and you can't pull away, then you should consider taking a long vacation. Maybe a trip to your favorite camping or hiking destination, and you can enjoy a relaxing, meaningful time spent away from social media at your own comfort. It is important to spend time away from social media and not to worry about checking your notification. And there you have it, guys. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. We at APP Mindset are going to post regular content, so stay tuned so that you don't miss out on a single video. Were there some topics that we left out? Let us know in the comment section below. Stay subscribed, and we hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
Most important interpersonal skills in career development. Around the world, most people have a lot of expertise in their field, but they can't have success with their careers. They have the knowledge to provide very good work. They are constantly hustling hard, but they can't take their careers to the next level. How can we explain that social phenomenon regarding the situation of those people? What are they missing? What are the elements that they need to add up to their existing skills to do better with their careers? A very simple answer can be provided to all of those questions, and this is interpersonal skills. Let me explain. Most people think they only need to be an expert in what they are doing to be successful with their work. That's a completely misleading conception of growth through a career. You may be the hardest worker in the room, but if you can't manage a good relationship with people around you, it will be difficult to reach success since you are going in the wrong direction. Those skills that you need to build that relationship are what we call interpersonal skills. They are the most important elements to add to your expertise if you're serious about your career development. Without further ado, here are the 5 most important interpersonal skills in career development. Skill number 1, communication. Basically, communication is about expressing ourselves through an exchange of information. There are two types of communication. The first is verbal communication, where we try to be understood by others using words. The second is gestural communication, where we express ourselves using our body. Especially when you are working with other people, communication is the first skill you need to master if you want to progress through your workspace environment. When there is a constant share of information that is part of your work, you have to get the capability of knowing exactly what and how to communicate. For example, if you're a manager, it is very important to make sure that you are providing your requirements in a clear and concise way to your workers. You have to understand what you are asking. They need to feel comfortable when they are listening to you. A good communication skill will considerably increase your professional image and reputation. This is one of the hardest elements that will make you stand apart from others. So if you haven't got that particular skill yet, or if you're an introverted person, find a way to learn how to combine both verbal and gestural communication together in order to be understood by your peers. Skill number 2, teamwork. The capability to work effectively with the team is one of the most crucial skills companies are looking for when hiring professionals. Let's face it, you can't do all of the hard work required for the success of a company just by yourself. The well-being of the whole company will be built by a solid team, compounded by experts who know how to work together and provide a final premium service. For example, let's consider a football team, where each player on the ground has a specific role. The goalkeeper's primary goal is to prevent the opposing team from scoring. The defender has to prevent any adverse player from shooting to the goal, and the striker's role is mainly to score. While each of them has a very specific specialty, they will lead the team to victory by working together. They will exchange passes harmoniously and shoot to win the game. That's the same thing when it comes to a workspace. I guarantee you, if you can work effectively with your colleagues for the success of the whole team, you will be one of the most valuable workers of the company, and your career will quickly move on to the next level. Skill number 3, adaptability. While working, we can face situations where things don't go as planned. We often face events that we didn't expect to happen. Thus, if you're a person who is used to being fixed to your comfort zone, that kind of situation will cause you a lot of struggles. Believe me, you should never stay inside of your comfort zone. You have to learn constantly, get out of your area of comfort to get the skill of facing unexpected situations. Through the actual world, things are changing in a way we have never seen before. A strategy that works today has no guarantee of working tomorrow. Many of today's skills will be irrelevant or outdated tomorrow. That's an inevitable phenomenon. So in order to stay in today's game, you need to make the commitment to update yourself. It's very important to prepare yourself for upcoming changes. Whatever your status in a company, your adaptability skill is what will make you one of the main supporters of the company. So, if you want to grow with your career, keep an open mind and learn about whatever relevant tools that have been released to make your work easier and more effective. Every unexpected situation is an important opportunity for you to grow as a professional. So make them your friends and adapt yourself. Skill number 4, conflict resolution. Jack Ma, the richest man in China and owner of Alibaba, once said, "I know nothing about marketing. I know people." Knowing people is all about getting a concrete feeling of how they feel, what they need, and how they may react when they face certain situations. We are all different, both in our way of thinking and acting. While those differences may lead to understanding in situations of conflict, if we learn how to know each other, we can definitely avoid facing regrettable situations. You have to know people if you want to manage conflictual situations. You need to know your colleague while you are talking to him. This is also the area where a good communication skill will be required to get a happy ending for conflictual situations. Wherever people are living or working, conflicts are inevitable. You will always find 2 or 3 people who don't have the same area of interest regarding a certain situation. So we have to be wise by understanding the feelings or emotions of our peers, and then wisely manage the conflictual situations when they occur. Thus, if you are a person who knows people, and hence you can resolve conflicts, you will be a high in demand worker. Skill number 5, leadership. A leader is a person who has a strong vision for the team or the company and can effectively communicate the vision to the players of the group. Being a leader will give you the highest status possible within the company you are working. I'll be honest with you, this status comes with a lot of responsibilities, and this is the hardest interpersonal skill to get. As a leader, you will have to manage all the situations related to the team. Your communication skill must be strong, since your job is to make the group work harmoniously. Actually, we have many leaders in our world. Whether it's in sports, politics, education, or science, there are many people who know how to drive people to a common goal with a common vision. So if you can be a leader, you can reach the highest level of your career quicker than you think. In summary, communication, teamwork, adaptability, conflict resolution, and leadership are the 5 most important interpersonal skills that you need to have. If you can add those 5 skills to your expertise, you can be sure you are in the right direction to the highest level of your career. If you are good at what you are doing and you are a socially skilled person, your success is inevitable.
Positive organizations, companies who love their employees. In the 21st century, organizations have a different work environment compared to what our fathers and their fathers used to have. In this era, companies are advocating a positive work environment that stimulates the growth, development, and success of its members. After all, it ultimately decides its success or failure. Hello, and welcome to APP Mindset. In this video, we will be looking at the philosophy of positive organizations, their importance, and how companies may embrace it in their work environments. Watch this video till the last minute to stay motivated and revolutionize your workspace. So what are positive organizations? Positive organizations are the corporations that promote a healthy workspace lifestyle where employees flourish as they work. As a result, the outcome of the employees exceeds tenfold, and their performance is more inspiring and effective. Many companies will argue that having a high-pressure and work-oriented culture will drive revenue and profits in the company, but they are wrong here. The environment is like cancer to the employees. The productivity in such an environment is very low, which impacts not only the employee performance in the office but his personal life as well. However, one can't disregard the fact that not all organizations are static. Organizations are a mixture of positive and negative traits. Some can be more negative, while others can be more positive. The more negative ones believe that overloading the employees with work and pressurizing them will lead to better performance, but the repercussions are far more. Let us have a look at why organizations with negative work cultures are the black sheep of the family. Number 1, negative work culture leads to poor economic performance. Number 2, toxic culture gets promoted and infects others. Number 3, an enraging toxic culture gives rise to unethical behavior inside or outside the workplace, which destroys trust. Number 4, negative vibe will result in stress, conflict, and harassment. This will lead to damaging effects on the physical and mental well-being of employees. Number 5, all the negative vibes at work make one feel dull when he returns home. This exploits social happiness, leading to burned out and overstressed individuals. If you are employed in a company with such a work environment, then you might be relating to these points. It's clearly not pleasant experience. Therefore, people, especially CEOs, need to know more about positive organizations and cherish their importance. Here's why such positive culture is important. Positive organizations have characteristics that promote growth, development, diversity, and feedback. These workplace culture characteristics create an attracting factor and a strong brand identity. Millennials and Generation Z seeking employment are attracted to such workplaces. Why won't they be? Who doesn't love a workplace that not only respects company values but also the employees who maintain those values? When a candidate is hired for a job, he will love working there without any stress, which will definitely contribute to positive business performance. Moreover, organizations struggle with the dilemma of leaving employees. Sadly, those employees who find better opportunities elsewhere shift their job. But if an organization that advocates positive work culture will see more employee retention rates, why won't they stay? I hope I don't have to say the characteristics again and again. Now that you've understood what the consequences of negative workplace culture are and the importance of a positive organization, let us look at how companies can incorporate positive culture in the workplace environment. With the right management and efforts of the HR team, changing from negative culture to a positive one is highly possible. Number 1, evaluate where the company stands. Change comes from understanding the flaws in the current system. If the current system won't be analyzed, then enforcing the positive standards will be much difficult. Unfortunately, change might not work the way you wanted. Therefore, it is essential to evaluate the current workplace culture by building insights about current working styles, the relationship between managers and employees, company policies, and company values. Number 2, change of mindset. Your company leaders may have the traditional ways of getting things done. No, we are not saying to remove them and let the new generation take the lead. Nor am I disagreeing with the fact of young leaders. Your company leaders can be trained by trainers who advocate positive psychology. The flow of positive vibe in the upper hierarchy will enable them to apply a more positive mental map that aligns with the working of a positive organization. Not only the leaders but the employees must be trained as well. Individual training programs can work here. Not only the management staff but the non-management staff can benefit from it and adapt to the new environment. Along with training, team building activities can be a bonus point that can foster positive relationships between the company employees. Number 3. Give employees room to work. Nah, not the actual room, but a metaphorical room to work. It is a fact that whenever people are given the liberty to shape their task, responsibility, or role as per their will, they are more likely to perform better. Therefore, employing a structure of letting the employees perform tasks as per their values, passion, and strength will definitely contribute to a positive workflow. The manager only needs to supervise and help the employees if he's stuck, while the employee must make the best use of his strengths and passion to perform the task at a higher efficiency. Number 4. Create a progressive, positive work environment. A workplace must be the one that stimulates productivity and creativity. A depressing work environment will never contribute to any organization's positive growth. Creating a comfortable work environment is key. If you've seen the modern offices, that is what I'm talking about. Areas for discussion, a cubicle for isolation, ergonomic furniture, lighting that does not hurt in any way, and aesthetic wallpaper and interior design. This may look fashionable, but this is what modern offices are, and their primary focus is to create a positive organization to improve productivity and creativity. Number 5. Looking after employees. Creating a positive environment is like making an employee feel at home. It was highlighted previously how negative workplace culture can cause mental health and stress issues. That's what you have to tackle. Create an environment where employees can talk openly about their health with their co-workers and managers. Talking about the problems and finding solutions within the firm would be a better cure than leaving the office for weeks. Number 6. Develop a strong workplace culture. Companies already have a set of goals and purpose, but the mechanism behind it is stress, forcefulness, and unwanted pressure. If the same set goals and identity can be revamped in such a way that it aligns with the revised positive values and culture of the company, the results will be totally unexpected. This works because now each employee will know and understand the company's primary goals. Positive organizations are the best things to develop in this era. With positivity in work culture, there will be a new energy in the system, and that energy will cultivate fulfilling outcomes. That was it from our end. Tell us in the comments below what aspect of positive organization you like the most. Stay blessed and stay happy.
People use New Year as a time to make resolutions and set new goals for themselves. That shouldn't be the case though. You should be thinking of your goals and how to improve yourself every your health, your finance, your confidence, your communication skills, your management skills, or really anything you can think of. They can help improve every single aspect of your life. The main part of their job is helping you figure out what's holding you back. What is it that's getting in the way of you achieving your goals? And they help you get past whatever that is. They help you plan and make sure the plan is followed. One other great thing about life coaches is that the sessions are done in whatever way is convenient to you. If you want it in person, you meet them in person. If you feel judged in person, you can talk to them over the phone or even online. They cater to your convenience always. Well, if you're still not convinced to get a life coach, let me tell you the benefits I personally felt ever since I got a life coach. First of all, getting a life coach improved my self-awareness. It made me gain clarity on what my passions are in life. Some people know what they want in life, what they want to do, what they're good at, how they can go and do it. They know all of that, but some are confused. They aren't quite sure what their passion is. To know that, you need to know yourself. You need to have an idea of who you are. We often spend time discovering other people and getting to know other people. We rarely ever give time to discover our own self. Ever since I got a life coach, I've started reflecting on what I want in life. They ask such deep and personal questions that you get a better understanding of who you are yourself. And when you actually find something you want to do, it's easier to go and get it without giving up too. Moreover, getting a life coach completely transformed my perspective. We often keep ourselves trapped in a box. We never think outside the box. Life coaches enable you to think outside the box. That makes you come up with better plans and better strategies to solve your struggles. Also, another bad thing about staying trapped in a box is the fact that we only consider one perspective. We often do not understand another person's point of view and only think our opinion is right. That often leads to relationships with your peers getting disturbed too. Well, life coaches make you understand others better too. Understanding yourself is the most essential part of life. But understanding others who are important to you, that's important too. Otherwise, you'll always feel lonely. You'll feel like you lose everyone important to you. Life coaches help you realize why others what they do and how you can react to make them feel better. Not only does it improve your relationships, but it also improves your communication. You know what you want. You know what others might think. It makes it easier to convey what's important to you in a way that won't offend anyone else either. A lot of times when you do not understand what someone else is thinking, a simple conversation turns into an argument, and that's toxic for both the parties involved. The great thing about life coaches is you can communicate better. You can talk about what you want and what you need, and you can also understand where the other person is coming from. Also, most importantly, life coaches help you be a lot more productive. Talking from my personal experience, before I had a life coach, I was lazy. I procrastinated a lot. I never managed my time well and ended up wasting a lot of my time. This might sound mainstream to you, but it is true. Time is the most precious thing for any human being. And a life coach makes you manage your time in such a way that you use it better and more productively. That certainly does not mean you never get any free time. Having time to yourself and just relaxing is a very important part of the day. But life coaches just enable you to spend more time achieving your goals instead of being lazy or giving up. They encourage you to achieve your goals. So, there you have it. Now you know some of the many benefits of getting a life coach. It is hard to find the coach who's perfect for you, but trust me, when you find one, your whole life is improved. It takes you on a journey of self-growth, personal development, and happiness. And with that, we come to the end of this video. I hope this video inspired you, and if it did, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. Also, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. all have our share of bad habits. Having a bad sleeping schedule, spending hours on social media, or even biting your nails. At the moment, you'll think it's not a big deal. But bad habits are like parasites, and they keep growing and becoming worse. You won't realize at first how much they're affecting you, but in the long term, you'll regret them big time. And trust me, no one wants to reach that point. You need to break your bad habits in the bud. So how to do that? How to break your bad habits? Well, I'll teach you how today. But before I begin, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and do subscribe to the channel for more self-improvement videos. So anyway, let's get right into it. Firstly and most importantly, you can't simply break a bad habit and pretend it never existed. You have to replace it. All the habits you currently have, even if they're bad, are there for a reason. And somehow, they are there because they make you feel better, even if they're not good overall. Don't get me wrong, that does not mean you shouldn't get rid of them. That just means you need to replace them. For example, many people start smoking or doing drugs or biting their nails because they're stressed. And obviously, considering you somehow benefit from them, it is hard to let them go. So, I can't just go like, stop doing it to help you. That's not how it works. Instead, you have to look for another habit that can help you. For example, let's talk about how people start doing drugs to prevent stress. Now, instead of leaving drugs, the better option would be to find another better way to cope with stress. Something like drawing or painting, or maybe listening to music to calm you down. But obviously, it isn't that easy to just switch from one habit to another. So now, let's talk about some easy ways to do that. Well, obviously, the first step would be to find a substitute for your bad habit. Drawing instead of smoking was just one example. I'm sure your circumstances would be a lot different and your substitute would be different accordingly. So whatever it is, first of all, think of a substitute. Think of something else that will give you the same benefit your bad habit gives you. Secondly, get rid of your triggers. This also includes changing the environment you're surrounded by. No matter what bad habit you have, there will be some things or some people that trigger you to go back to it. Remove those things from your life. If you really want to quit something, you have to get rid of anything that will take you back. For example, if you think you waste too much time on social media and you want to stop, delete the app. Deactivate the account. Try your best not to be triggered to go back. Another example, well, let's say you smoke or drink because of the company you have. Well, change the company. If there is anyone who encourages you to go back to your bad habit, trust me, it is okay to cut them off or at least reduce the time you spend with them. Changing your environment doesn't only mean ditching your old company though, it also means finding a new company. So try to surround yourself with people that live the way you want to live. A great way to do that is by joining support groups. I know this sounds dumb, but in the long run, they're definitely worth it. Another great tip to remove any bad habit is visualizing your success. I know this doesn't make sense, like why would visualizing something that isn't even true help me? Well, visualizing your success motivates you. It motivates you to reach that point in life. When you know what you want to do and the goal you want to achieve, it's easier to find a way towards it. So, if you're trying to stop smoking, think of how great it would feel if you finally let it go and you're proud of yourself. Not just you, but people around you are proud of you. Imagine it like it's actually happening. Trust me, once you feel how great that would be, you will be so motivated to get there. All these tips are great and they work, but it doesn't mean following these tips would be completely perfect. I mean, you might fail. There might be slip-ups, but that does not mean you give up or just let go of your goal. It's easy to judge and criticize yourself every time you make even a little mistake. But you know what? Failing sometimes does not mean you suck. It just means you're human. Failure is completely natural. The aim shall never be perfection. It should be making progress. Progress is never linear. You fall and you rise, but you keep on trying. So instead of putting yourself down, plan for failure. Plan on how you'll get back on track. But before all these steps, the real struggle is to actually encourage yourself. You might be thinking it's too late to break this bad habit and you're too far gone. But trust me, it's never too late. You can start working on whatever you want to change anytime you want. Just train your mind. Remember why you want to do it. Draw a path and just stay on that path. Just follow the plan. I know these bad habits seem to be a lot of fun right now and you think you can never leave them. But trust me, there's a very thin line between enjoying your life and destroying your future. All these bad habits are where you cross that line. Don't sleep on your bad habits. Don't overlook them. Because if you do, they might end up being routine. Start today. Take one step. The first of many. Stop waiting for a revelation. Stop waiting for someone to help. You alone are enough for yourself. And you can break any bad habit you have, only if you put your mind to it. So, well, that's all for this video. I really hope the video motivated you. Make sure to give it a thumbs up and do subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you guys next time. Till then, peace out.
Learn optimism amidst social anxiety. Picture the following scenario. You're at a party with your friend, and there is some big news that you really wanted to share with him, to the point where you even memorized exactly how you are going to bring the subject up. Then, while you're sitting up to reveal these big news, your friend just picks up his phone and starts texting someone else. How do you react? Do you A. Give up on giving the big news because you are clearly bothering your friend with details about your boring life? Or wait for him to finish texting and try breaking the big news again? This may seem like a trivial matter at first, but picking option A tends to be a clear sign of social anxiety, and it is highly tied with whether you approach relationships from an optimistic or pessimistic lens. And according to the American psychologist Martin Seligman, this pessimistic outlook on life might be part of the reason why you're socially anxious in the first place. Let's look at the situation with your friend once again. If you picked option A, you are more likely to ascribe the reason for your friend's distraction on yourself. I'm not interesting enough. They only listen to me out of politeness. My news weren't that exciting. You believe that if your friend wouldn't listen to you, it might be your fault, and that no one would ever be interested in what you had to say, which has to do with how you tend to explain most social situations. Seligman analyzed that pessimists and optimists tend to have different explanatory styles, which he divided into 3 P's. Permanence. Optimists tend to attribute temporary causes to setbacks in their life, like getting rejected by a romantic partner, and are able to bounce back from such events much easier. A pessimist, on the other hand, will believe that he was rejected because of their height or the tone of their voice, and that therefore every partner will reject them for the same reason. Persuasiveness. An optimist is also more likely to compartmentalize negative events, so if they get bad grades in a specific class, they tend to look at that as a single problem that won't really impact his familial life or his future as a professional. But a pessimist will believe that failing at a class means that his family will like him less, and that they're bound to fail at getting into prestigious colleges and therefore getting a job as a result. Personalization. Likewise, an optimist is likely less to attribute the cause of negative events to themselves. If they get fired from their job, it will be the fault of this rotten economy, not of his actions. Now, if a pessimist gets fired, it could be because he sucks at what he does, and that he picked a wrong career path for his life. Learned helplessness. Looking at these explanatory styles, it's not hard to notice how pessimistic lines of thought that often find no echo in reality are a big part of social anxiety. And Seligman noticed this as well during an experiment involving 3 groups of dogs. In this experiment, the first set of dogs worked as a control group, while the second was put in an environment with an electric grid, which would dispense shocks at random, which the dogs could turn off by pressing a button. The third, however, was put in a similar environment to the second, but without the possibility of escaping the pain of the shocks, which would end just as randomly as when they started. As you can imagine, the puppies on the third group soon started feeling the effects of being put in a painful situation which they had no control over. On the second stage of the experiment, both groups were put on a new environment where they would be able to escape the shocks, but where the puppies from the second group would just replicate the solution they had learned. Those in the third group would just stay there and accept the pain of the shocks, even though the solution was right in front of them. In a sense, The puppies on the third group had developed a form of learned helplessness, adopting the pessimistic view that they shouldn't bother pressing the button because it wouldn't do anything. But when Seligman taught them that they could now end the shocks by pressing the button, they started doing it every time, which led the psychiatrist to believe that optimism could be learned like any skill. Optimism can be learned. Right now you might be cursing at the screen saying something like, well, what the hell does that have to do with me? I'm not a dog, and my social anxiety is not like an electric shock that I can just press a button to solve. And you would be absolutely right. However, most cases of social anxiety do come from the same feeling of helplessness, which we have learned is something we acquire somewhere in our development. Maybe you witnessed or even suffered abuse in your home as a child, or were exposed to bullying from a very young age, or even had to deal with loss or the desertion of a loved one, and that has led you to adopt a certain set of pessimistic beliefs about people in general. After all, if you believe that most people are disinterested or even hostile to you from the get-go, you're less likely to try and form meaningful relationships with them, which will obviously take its toll on your overall quality of life. Social anxiety is also going to negatively affect your professional life as well, since doing things like job interviews and networking becomes significantly harder when you believe everyone is going to judge you negatively. So how can we teach ourselves to become more optimistic? Learning optimism. In order to help his patients develop a more optimistic outlook by challenging their pessimistic thoughts, Seligman devised that he called the ABCDE model, standing for adversity. Can you track one recent event at a source of your pessimistic thoughts? Belief. How did this event make you feel? Consequence. Do you notice any behaviors or habits that arose as a consequence of your feelings towards the event? Disputation. Are there any events that prove your feelings about the source event wrong? Energization. How does challenging your negative beliefs inspire you to move forward with new beliefs? Let's look at some examples. As a socially anxious person, you believe that no matter how hard you try, you're never going to express yourself the way you wanted to. Adversity. Following the ABCDE model, you remember that you felt like that after being punished by a teacher for something you didn't do. Belief. Because you were unable to explain your point of view then, you started believing that you're simply incapable of explaining your thoughts to others. After all, if your teacher didn't listen to you, why would anyone? Consequence. Because you started believing that people would simply not listen to you when you tried explaining your thoughts, you simply gave up altogether, fearing what would happen if you tried too hard. Disputation. However, you notice that you are better at expressing yourselves with friends and family, so you are clearly capable of putting your thoughts into words. Energy. And this realization makes you commit to speaking your mind more often. By applying this method, you will start building the basis of a strong self-confidence that has a healthy sense of scale and realism on how you see the world at its core, and you will be happier for it. This YouTube channel is dedicated to improving people's lives through the proliferation of psychological knowledge and education. You can aid on this mission by liking and sharing this video, as well as subscribing and ringing the notification bell for more content in the near future.
All of us face difficult situations in life, and those situations mostly bring out the worst in us. I mean, when you're sad or angry, a side of you comes out that really isn't even close to the best version of yourself. These are the moments that differentiate successful and unsuccessful people. In this scenario, an unsuccessful person could be reactive, but what sets a successful person apart is he'll choose to be proactive in difficult situations like that. Today, we'll talk about how you can be proactive instead of being reactive. But before we get into it, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. And don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. We post inspiring videos on this channel that will help you improve every aspect of your life. So to make sure you never miss out on them, press the bell icon so you get notified about future uploads. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. Let's learn how to be proactive. Before we talk about how to do it, let's first understand the difference between proactive and reactive. I'll try to make it as simple as possible. If you're reactive, it means you are reacting to events. I mean, an event has happened and then you react to it. However, if you are proactive, it means you solve the problems before they even have a chance to appear. Being proactive means you plan everything out so well that chances of facing a bad event are pretty much negligible. So now, let's go on to the main question of today. How to be proactive instead of reactive. The first and most important tip is to think long term. One issue when it comes to reactive people is that they often fail to see the bigger picture. They don't make long-term plans. Well, proactive people do. The great thing about it is they're prepared for anything that might happen. They have the upper hand. That is the key to being proactive. Prepare for anything that can happen and react to it before it even happens. Reacting to it means taking care of it before it actually happens. This tip is mostly useful if you are trying to start a business. For any successful business, entrepreneurs have to plan for any obstacles they may face beforehand. Without that long-term plan, chances of being successful aren't too much. Secondly, to be proactive, your priorities have to be set straight. Being proactive does not mean you have to react to every single event happening in the environment. Time is the most precious blessing of all, and being proactive means you have to organize your thoughts and only focus on things that are actually meaningful in the long run. Don't go around wasting time focusing on everything going on around you. So, instead of reacting to everything around you, what should you actually focus on? Well, you should focus on organizing things that actually matter. Organize important files and documents. Manage your appointments as needed. Focus on your deadlines and make sure you meet your deadlines always. Organizing your thoughts will enable you to divide your time efficiently between things that actually matter. Even with your tasks, not everything is equally important. If you try to focus on everything all at once, you'll end up getting tired. You'll end up having burnout. That actually ends up making you more reactive. So always try to prioritize your tasks. Don't overburden yourself. Another tip you should follow to be proactive is to not react right away. Especially if it's a situation that gets you into your emotions right away. Like if you're in a situation that angers you or irritates you. Take a deep breath and think before you react. Reacting right away will make you end up saying or doing things you'll definitely going to regret later. It's not something that proactive people do. For instance, let's say someone's doing something that bothers you, and you just react right away and get mad at them and lash out. Later on, you realize they had a genuine reason behind it. How much will you regret lashing out then? The quick knee-jerk reactions always end up causing something negative to happen. That's why, even if something angers you, you should take a deep breath and think before you speak. Don't react right away. Stay calm. Talking about calm, having a calm personality is actually another trait of proactive people. Being calm actually makes you more strategic. Being calm is great because instead of lashing out and getting too emotional, you'll understand the importance of not getting too emotional. Instead, you'll stay calm at the moment and make more strategic and better decisions. Combine that with long-term planning and you've got proactive thinking. But sometimes it's hard to stay calm. In those moments, you need to remember that you can't control everyone around you. Even if someone's bothering you, you can't control them. You can't change them. The only person who you can control is yourself. So focus on yourself and work on keeping yourself calm. Another obstacle you may face when trying to stay calm is sometimes your emotions are too bottled up. So when even a minor inconvenience occurs, you react a bit too much. Proactive people prevent that from happening. And the way to do it is to deal with your problems at the moment. Don't bottle them up. Don't leave them for later. Deal with whatever is happening right now. Make peace with it. Even if you made a mistake, take a moment to understand why you did what you did and take it as a lesson. Don't keep accumulating mistakes. They'll get way too much to handle later. Even though the other tips are important too, but the key to being proactive is all about staying calm. And staying calm means dealing with everything that's going on around you calmly instead of letting your emotions get the best of you. Once you master the art of being calm, simply combine it with long-term planning and nothing can stop you from being proactive then. Staying calm might feel difficult, but it's definitely worth it. You better take my word for it. On that note, let's end today's video. I hope this video inspired you and it helped you. If it did, make sure to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you guys next time. Till then, peace out. Communication skills, analytical skills, problem-solving skills. These are all included in the set of skills that everyone should gain in their lifetime. However, the list does not end there. Another thing you should master is leadership skills. And if you truly want to lead others, you need to first learn how to lead yourself. Leading yourself is called self-mastery. Simply put, it's the art of mastering yourself. Self-mastery includes controlling your words, your emotions, and your actions. If you learn the art of self-mastery, it can truly transform your life. But the main key to mastering yourself is being self-aware. And today, we'll talk about how to be self-aware and all the ways it will benefit you. But before I begin, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe for more videos that will definitely improve your whole lifestyle. Also, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. So, without any further ado, let's learn the art of self-awareness. Before we talk about the how, let's talk about the what. So, what exactly is self-awareness? In simple words, self-awareness is basically the habit of paying complete attention to how you think, how you feel, and how you behave. It means you put in the effort to understand how you think and perceive things. Also, it means instead of just trying to fix your mood, you try to observe why you're feeling this way. Basically, it means you're completely aware of yourself. It means understanding your own psychology. We usually spend a lot of time trying to understand the people around us. We try to understand how they think and why they behave the way they do. But at the end of the day, it's more important to understand how you think, how you behave. So, how can you be more self-aware? Let's talk about that. First and foremost, pay attention to what bothers you. Even if it's a little thing, think of what irritates you about other people. It's a proven fact that the things we dislike in others are usually a reflection of what we dislike in ourselves. So, if there are little things that bother you about other people, think about it. Is it something you might dislike about yourself? Even if it's a small thing, asking yourself this question will open the door to improvement for you. Besides trying to understand what you don't like about yourself, another thing you need to understand is your emotions. No one likes to feel stressed or sad, and to avoid it, we often end up ignoring it. I mean, if it's an emotion we dislike, we just ignore it and try our best to somehow avoid it. Sometimes, just to avoid that feeling, we just try to find absolutely anything at all that will distract us and somehow let us ignore the sadness. We don't realize it, but that's actually a very unhealthy coping mechanism. It's completely natural. We all have emotions we don't want to feel, and we try our best to avoid them. But what we don't realize is avoiding it actually has an even more negative impact on us. In the long run, to actually be self-aware, we need to understand how to handle our negative emotions. I know ignoring them is the easier option, but it's not the way to go. Moving on. Another great way to be self-aware is reading. You might have heard that reading opens up the mind. Trust me, that is completely true. A good book obviously has a great plot and keeps the audience engaged. But more importantly, a good book has all the small details about life and about human nature. Even the tiniest details of human emotions and thoughts are included in the book. And by reading, you'll understand the little details you should focus on. You start with observing others and you move on to also look at yourself the same way. You start to understand even the little things about yourself, and that's the key to being self-aware. So make sure to take time out for a book every day. Find something that might interest you or ask a friend who reads for suggestions. Ironically enough, to actually be aware of yourself, you also need the feedback of others. Yes, you heard it right. Other people's feedback can help you be more aware of yourself. If only you learn to take the feedback well. I know it's hard to consider the feedback of others. I know it's irritating when someone tells you to improve yourself. But you need to change your mindset and understand feedback. Specifically, constructive criticism is probably the best way to grow and improve yourself. If you truly want to be self-aware, you need to know absolutely everything about yourself. Some things you can see yourself. You can improve them yourself. But there are some blind spots, and for those, we need other person's feedback. So, ask others for feedback. Don't get defensive about it. Just hear them out and try to understand how you can improve yourself. If you really want to be aware of yourself, you have to be aware of the bad parts as well. Another great step to being self-aware is drawing a timeline of your life. That means everything. The positive parts, also the negative parts. Even the parts where you know you made a mistake. Make a timeline of everything. This has two huge benefits. Firstly, you get a completely new perspective about your past mistakes and all the past events in your life. Secondly, this timeline will help you make peace with your past, which is yet another great step towards the direction of self-awareness. We have all made mistakes in the past. Some are worse than others. It's true that what we are today is because of all our past experiences. But that does not mean we're confined to our past experiences. You have to understand that yes, you made mistakes, but you have to make your peace with them. Try to understand why you did what you did. And that will not only let you be aware of yourself, but will also enable you to master yourself and prevent yourself from making the same mistakes again. Make peace with your past, and you'll have a better approach towards your present, which will obviously lead you to a better future as well. It's a cycle, and being self-aware is the key to a successful cycle. And with that, we come to the end of this video. I hope this video helped you, and if it did, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Sure, watching that next episode instead of working, or having a pizza instead of cutting back on calories seems like a fun option. But trust me, that is not the case. Studies have shown that people who can control themselves and have self-discipline are a lot happier at the end of the day. Working to become self-disciplined and to have willpower, it's not easy, but trust me, it's definitely worth it. When you have control over your habits and your choices, you can be more productive. And trust me, in the long run, self-discipline is an important key to success. I mean, we all understand how important and effective self-discipline is. But knowing that is just not enough. How many of us actually understand how self-discipline can be a part of our lives? How can you get the willpower to make the best decision even if it's hard? Well, don't worry. All your questions are surely going to be answered by the end of this video. But before we begin, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe for more inspiring videos to help you improve all aspects of your life. Also, give this video a thumbs up. So without any further ado, let's talk about the key to building self-discipline. Self-discipline seems like a simple practice that will lead you towards a successful and happy life. But it is more than that. It requires motivation, strong willpower, persistence, and a whole lot of self-determination. But to build willpower, to be persistent, to stay motivated, and to climb the ladder of self-discipline, all comes down to being self-determined. That's just not the key to self-discipline, but also the key to success. And today, I will guide you step by step on how to become self-determined. First, let's talk about motivation. Now, I'm sure we've all done this. We woke up one day, got inspired by something, felt motivated, worked enthusiastically, but unfortunately, it only lasted a few days or maybe a few hours. I'm sorry if you felt attacked, but don't worry, it's only natural. And why is that? That's because the motivation we're feeling at that time is external, also known as extrinsic. We saw goals we want to achieve, but why we want to achieve them? That was unclear. The reason might be money, power, success, but please know these factors will only make your motivation weaker and weaker. The real motivation, however, is the one that comes from within. Your intrinsic motivation not only makes you self-motivated, but also makes your motivation long-lasting. So make sure that you're motivated with more relevant and reliable goals like fulfillment, a sense of responsibility, and finding a purpose in life. Ask yourself a simple question. What does success mean to you? This will give you a clear insight into what you really want. It will make you more disciplined and bring your focus towards a single direction. The very first step to self-discipline is finding that motivation. What comes after that is managing your time. You need to plan everything in accordance with time. Stop procrastinating. Stop thinking, I'll get there when I get there. Rather, make sure you achieve your goals in time. Start from small achievable goals every day. Goals that you don't think count much. Like, whenever you change your clothes, fold them back and keep them properly. This will give you a sense of achievement. Even though it's a little step, still be happy about it. This will drive you to do better and better. You may be thinking, why feel like I achieved something great over something as simple as folding clothes? Well, for self-discipline, you need consistency. And when you doubt yourself, that makes consistency very hard. Sure, you're your biggest critic, but sometimes you also have to be your biggest supporter. Reward yourself even if it's a small task. Motivation, time management. So, what's the next step? Well, that is self-assessment. We all have different abilities and different skills. That's how we're made. None of us is perfect. We obviously lack somewhere. But the thing that matters the most is how much we understand ourselves. Knowing your weaknesses and your strengths will enable you to work on the flaws that are holding you back. Believe it or not, that will definitely push you towards being self-disciplined. I'll give you an example. Let's suppose you know that you can write a brilliant essay. You have references, you have all the content you need. But at the same time, you know that you're not quite much of a time manager. You poorly manage time, which will definitely affect your potential. No matter how great you can write, if you won't do it in time, sadly, it's irrelevant. So after you realize that, Start working on your time management. Practice your writing speed. Start with writing a smaller word count essay. This will make you believe that it's not impossible to take over your weaknesses. And obviously, time management is just an example. You can implement this on absolutely any weakness you might have. That is a great way to feel motivated and determined to do absolutely anything in life. It is indeed important to develop problem-solving skills. Work on your problems and find their solutions yourself. This is how you learn to rely on no one but yourself. So I just told you some rules and regulations you have to follow to become self-disciplined. But ironically enough, feeling like you're chained to rules will also prevent you from being self-disciplined. So instead of feeling like you have to follow the rules, you need to look for ways to make it more fun and enjoyable for yourself. For instance, if you have made up a goal to achieve good grades, that surely does not mean that you should completely become a bookworm. So for that, take help from your gadgets. Use technology and other tools that help you feel like it's not just a boring core you're stuck with. Read interesting blogs and articles that are related to your research. Watch motivational and inspirational videos. Play games that polish your mind. Improve your vocabulary, mathematics, or factual knowledge. Self-discipline or even success is never about feeling entrapped. You can never reach a goal if you don't somehow find the fun in it. And last but not the least, accept failure. If you are determined to reach your goals, it's quite possible that you will go through some unsuccessful attempts. Just know that it's perfectly alright. Everything does not always go according to plan, but how you deal with failure is what really matters. Just don't give up. Give your 100% and stay consistent. Well, that's it for today, guys. I hope this video inspired you, and if it did, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. Also, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time.